Welcome. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we're delighted that you have welcomed us into your home, and we want to hear from you. So during our show today, we want you to send us an email, jimandjoy@ewtn.com. You know, every Monday, we revisit one of our past shows, bringing you some of our most impactful interviews. And so today, we will bring you our interview with Mark Davis Pickup. He is a North American advocate for life and disability issues.
Well, as I think about Mark Davis Pickup and the show that we had with him, it also reminds me of somebody in our own community where we live, and daily I go out walking and jogging and so on, and there's a young lady there who, I don't know what her disability is, but I think it's muscular dystrophy. She just doesn't have control of her muscles. And I've gotten to know her a little bit. Her father, who recently passed away, was a minister in our community. And almost every day, well, almost every day, I get to see her coming out in this wheelchair and just having such problems with her muscles. And then there's a van that picks her up to take her wherever she's going for that day in terms of just having activity. And the dignity and grace with which she does what she does is like amazing. And the person who picks her up for this time, like, she won't let her wheel her out. She has to wheel herself out. It like takes so long, but she does it. And if she needs some help, that cannot be foregone. You know, it takes place. And it just, I say to you, I came home the other day after I went on this walk, and I said, you know, Joy, I see courage every day. I see courage every day in this person with this disability. It's amazing. And we need to lift up our people, their dignity, their worth, their value. They're going beyond us in so many ways in terms of courage and what they do. And Mark Davis Pickup, I mean, he is incredible. His own battle with multiple sclerosis, and his courage, the impact he made on our lives, but also he goes beyond his own, you know, making way in life. He is a voice. He is an advocate. He's one who has gone to the brink of thinking about his own suicide or being euthanized, and he's looked over the edge, and he's moved back from that edge, as somebody has said about him, and he said, no, every life is sacred, everybody has dignity, worth, and value. And he's an advocate legislatively, there in Canada, throughout the world. He's an amazing, amazing man that will have a great impact on your life today.
Well, and we so enjoyed being with him because he was the face of courage, of tenacity. He kept going and going and not giving up, and perseverance and endurance, those fortitudes, those things that we love, all those attributes about other people, and we got to see him and know him in that kind of way.
And Mark is really an ecumenical person. He says, you know, we have everything we need to stand up against the culture of death if Catholics and Protestants and people of goodwill would all work together. So we hope that you will be impacted by this show today. Can't see how you wouldn't. You're going to love Mark Davis Pickup. Let's watch, and we'll be back in just a little bit.
Well, Mark Pickup is the North American advocate for life and disability issues. He has a great website, humanlifematters.org. Well, Mark, we want to welcome you to At Home with Jim and Joy. We're delighted that you've come all the way from Canada to be with us. And what I want you to do, so our family at home could learn about you and who you are. Tell them about your story, where you were born and raised, marriage, kids, and your life.
I was born in a little coal mining town in the Canadian Rockies called Nordegg, and was raised in a resource town, boom town, oil town, in Alberta. My wife, my future wife, and I met as little children, and I think I always knew I was going to marry her. When we were teenagers, she became pregnant with our child, and she wanted to get married and have the baby. I wanted to party with my friends. And so I coerced, I cajoled or isolated her until she in fact did have that abortion. It didn't solve a problem, it created horrendous new problems. The problem of grief that lasted decades. And I think that was when our second child was born that I looked into that child's face and thought, you are not my first. And it was shortly after that time, well, that I began to really examine what I had done in pressuring and making it so difficult for Larry, my wife's name is Larry, that we aborted our child. And of course, there always comes that time when you're older and you look at your children and you think, there was that one that I did not protect, my first. And it haunted me, and I became involved in the pro-life movement. I often wonder if it was a form of penance.
Yeah.
But I did help start a pregnancy crisis center in the city of Edmonton, which is still going to this day. It's helped literally thousands of women. It's curious, at the 10th anniversary, or no, it was actually the 20th anniversary, someone came up with their daughter and said, we were one of the first that came to the center.
Doors.
And I just about lost it, even looking at this young woman and realizing that she might have been dead. When I was diagnosed in 1984 with multiple sclerosis, it came as a rude shock, terrible shock, and it was so raucous in those early years. You go up and down, you go into bed at night, and I wouldn't know what I would wake up with or wake up without. It was that volatile. I had been healthy as a horse up till this point, and we had to face this disability. And I got so sick I had to pull away from the pregnancy center and just deal with the disability. It was coming, the sickness. And at that time, there was no effective treatments for MS, other than symptomatic treatment with steroids and that kind of stuff, but they had their own side effects. But I can remember wondering, what is the point of this? The day that I was diagnosed, I was laying on the gurney. They had done what they call a lumbar puncture. They take out spinal fluid and examine it for certain blood proteins. At that time, that was the only diagnostic tool they had. They knew what normal blood proteins were, and they knew what abnormal were, and I was abnormal, and so the diagnosis was MS. And I said to the doctor, what do you think it is? And just as casual as you please, he closes his file. He says, I'm pretty sure it's MS, and he walked out of the room. Well, you may as well have kicked me in the chest.
Sure.
I can remember praying, why this, Lord? And the answer, although it wasn't audible, I could have sworn it was. The answer was, you are mine. And I can remember thinking, I didn't even ask that question. But I think what he was trying to illustrate to me was that nothing slips by his attention. Anything that happens, he allows. There is a purpose for it. There began the journey from being a healthy and athletic man to the various stages of disability. You would need a cane, then you'd come back out, then you'd go back in, you'd need 2 canes, and you'd come back out. But you'd never get the full function back that you had before. My vision was affected. My hearing was affected. I would lose the ability to walk. I'd lose the use of my right hand, and that was important to me because I was an artist and a musician. I would go spastic. I would go incontinent and dirty myself. I would have a fog where I couldn't think properly. And then they would come back. Happily, most of those symptoms did go away. But with the passage of time, I became progressively more disabled and eventually went into a scooter and a wheelchair, and then an electric wheelchair, which I use now, except when I'm traveling. The airlines beat it up so bad. I use a little scooter when I'm traveling, but that's only for a day or two. But that whole journey from going from able-bodied to disabled, and Larry, my wife, walking that journey with me, and her commitment was to her family, and to her, love is a choice. It isn't a feeling. She made a commitment, and she walked through the darkest times, even when people would say to her, and she worked at a college that was a nursing program, and they would say, why are you staying? You can find somebody else. But she has stayed throughout the 43 years.
At what point in your marriage did the disability hit? And was it progressive, or was it just a shock? Was it instant? How did it come upon you?
Well, it was 1984. We were married in 1973, so it was 11 years after we were married. I woke up one morning, and I was numb from the waist down. I couldn't feel I couldn't distinguish sharp from blunt or hot from cold. It was like somebody had given you a spinal anesthetic. And so I went to the doctor, and he said, oh, I think you pinched your nerve. And they sent me for physiotherapy and those kinds of things. And eventually it went away. But that was at a time, I got a short story for you, because it was at 1982, and the first time it hit, I wasn't diagnosed until 84, but the first attack came in 1982. And there was a recession in Canada at that time, and I could not find a job. I was out of work. And one day I came into the house, and Larry said, you know, you got this phone call from this organization, and they want you to go for an interview. And I thought, well, I didn't even send a resume to them. But my wife said, you don't have any jobs offers, you should go to the interview. So I went to the interview. And I can remember sitting in the waiting room waiting for my time with the board and wondering what this numbness was. I went into the meeting, and despite the fact that I told them I knew nothing about the disease that they represented, despite the fact that I didn't think they could pay what I needed to support a wife and 2 children, they offered me the salary right down to the dollar that I needed. They offered me the job of Client Services Coordinator for the MS Society of Edmonton. I took that job for 6 months. You see the very worst of MS. And MS can go all kinds of directions. Some people will have just minimal effects. Other people will have catastrophic effects. Well, I tended to see the catastrophic effects. I saw a woman, 42 years old. She was in a wheelchair within months. And her husband, he said, I don't need this. And he checked out with their only daughter. When I met her, she was absolutely broken. How does one console a soul like that? But this was, I couldn't take it. I left that job after 6 months and went to the cushy Federal Civil Service. And the numbness went away. 2 years later, the numbness comes back again, unexplained, unexpected, overnight. Same thing, numb from the waist down. So I go to the doctor, he says, oh, you pinched that nerve again. And then overnight I lost the use of my right hand. I couldn't even hold a pencil. Then he thought it was a brain tumor. So off I went to the oncologist. Now, happily, it wasn't a brain tumor. That's at the time that they started this whole series of tests, and that when I told you about the diagnosis of MS, that's when that happened. Of course, that all happened with this background of seeing the worst of MS.
Incredible. Yeah.
2 years earlier. I was terrified. I was absolutely horrified that this had visited me.
Tell us about being terrified. And was there anger? Was there sadness? Was there, I mean, how did you deal with this? How were you going to deal with it?
You know, being in a wheelchair was not something that I had ever imagined would happen to me. Yes, there was a point of anger, but there was also this questioning. Why? What was the point, Lord? I have to say, though, despite the fact that there were times when I despaired, there was always an awareness that Christ was there. I may not have wanted him at that moment. I may not have been receptive to what he was trying to tell me, but I was aware that he was there. Yeah. The grief, I think I'm fairly good with words, but it fails. Words fail to describe. There were times when actually music was the only thing that could express my grief. Barber's Adagio for strings or Bach's cantatas told me of the human heart that breaks and the human capacity to overcome, and of God's presence. Suffering, there's a crimson thread that runs throughout the history of humankind. It's not unique to me. It's not unique to anyone. And yet it is there. So we must always ask the question, why is it there? There must be a reason and a purpose. Now, the year that I was diagnosed, Pope John Paul wrote his encyclical letter, Salvifici Dolores, which spoke about the human meaning of the Christian meaning in suffering. And it was a pivotal document, even to this day. And he spoke about the kinds of experiences that we have, the isolation that comes, that sense of no one knows where I'm at. And not only that, there's a parallel grief in that my wife is watching this man who she married deteriorate and go down, that the man that I was no longer exists. I was gone as surely as if I died. And her grief, she could not express it, and so there was these two solitudes of grief. Wow. I couldn't express mine, and she couldn't really express hers. When she felt angry with me, why is Mark going down? She really couldn't express that, so that intensified her grief. I would feel that I cannot provide the way I want to provide for my family. It's impossible. But I couldn't say it to her. And so that intensified my grief. The Holy Father's encyclical addresses that. The Holy Father's encyclical addresses the whole prospect of giving our grief and our suffering over to Christ and his salvific suffering.
Yeah. Has a phrase, maybe it's the title itself, but the gospel of suffering, the good news of suffering. I think people that don't understand that, especially people that might be questioning the Catholic faith, it's kind of like, well, there you go again with Catholics' love for pain and for suffering. What does he mean, good news? What could possibly be good about suffering? But that's where he's going with it, without denying, I would think, the real suffering in this world that, as you said, is a part of every human being's life. How does he come to that place of the gospel, the good news of suffering? What could possibly be good?
The life, the passion, the death, the crucifixion and resurrection of our Lord paid the price that we should have paid for sin. It was that suffering and that death and ultimately that eloquent resurrection that is the good news. It was through his pain that we are redeemed. He invited me and everyone else into his suffering, into his salvific suffering. And it is only when we do that, and we hand that over to Christ, that we can begin to find the meaning and purpose of our own suffering. It will be different for each person, but it is in surrender that we find freedom. It's one of those dichotomies of the Christian faith. In death we find life. The least now will be the most then.
Right.
There's a kernel of truth there that we begin to bring out and let it blossom. And even in our suffering, sometimes because of our suffering, we can begin to see more clearly our Lord. Not only in his suffering, but in the hope that he brings to us.
Right. And in the presence of the encounter with him during the suffering. But what was your faith before MS?
Before MS, I was an evangelical Christian for 25 years. My father had died very early, and when I was a teenager. And a local Catholic priest was one of his best friends, took over that role and basically helped me through those very difficult years in my teen years. And so he planted that seed, that Catholic seed in me that I could not shake off. And my wife has often laughed and said, "You shouldn't have got married, you should have been a priest." But I could not shake it off. And my love for the Mother Church, I was loved into the Catholic Church, basically. So in 2004, I converted to Catholicism. And I've never looked back since. To be part of the Mother Church. And the other beautiful part about my suffering journey was to sit in the quietude of my parish before the Blessed Sacrament, sometimes not saying a thing, but to wait for Him to speak to me. You know, C.S. Lewis had a great comment about the Blessed Sacrament. He said, "It is the Blessed Sacrament and our neighbor that are the most holy things that we encounter in this life." And through that presence, that very real presence of the Eucharist, has been so critical to my journey in the last 12 years.
Yeah. Well, you know, your website is humanlifematters.org. You just think of the God that we serve is that divine one took on matter. You know, matter does matter to him. So it's not surprising, especially as we suffer, that we want to come to that place where it's not only knowledge and teaching, but where he has really mattered. I mean, he's physically mattering right there in the tabernacle or right before us. You know,
one of the other things I'm often reminded in Deuteronomy, it says that God gave us a choice. We could choose death or life. Choose life, that you and your descendants may live. And even with something as catastrophic as an adult-acquired disability, we have a choice. We can let it make us bitter or better. And we become better through a personal encounter with Christ.
Right.
That is the answer. It's not complicated.
Right.
Just speak a brief but powerful word just to those out there that are hurting, a message of hope.
Our Lord is with you. Even if you can't sense His presence, He is still there. The pain that you are going through, our Lord understands. There is no pain that He does not know, and there is no pain that He cannot help you rise above. And so I would say, don't lose hope, don't despair. Become connected with your parish. Let them become your family.
Mark, thank you so much for your witness.
Well, thank you, Mark, for that great, powerful interview. And we hope that you enjoyed Mark's story. And we want you to join us again next time. You are always at home with Jim and Joy. Keep it on EWTN. God bless you.